The police say that the information provided by the Conservative James Daly doesn't amount to or doesn't imply that he gave hard and fast evidence. But nevertheless, on the basis of that smear, Stephen Watson, the Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, has taken the decision to formally investigate a variety of issues surrounding Angela Rayner, and that she's potentially breached the Representation of the People Act 1983, providing false information to the Electoral Register, and that she may have improperly declared tax and avoided capital gains tax. In both cases, and there may be other issues as well, of course, but in both cases, the real problem is that the law in question is extremely complex. Now, I know there's a rather smug assumption that ignorance is no defense. But when the laws are not clear, when the laws are written in some sort of coded English, and the application of the law is extremely confusing and not consistent, when there are so many people in the House of Commons who have clearly been jigging around, making money left, right, and centre, and failing to declare it properly, it seems extraordinary that the axe should fall on Angela Rayner. That's the one side. The other side is, of course, the Labour Party has now said that it proposes to be clawing back money that has been fraudulently withheld from the tax office in order to fund some of its proposals. That means it needs to be squeakier clean. And so there can't be a person with a question mark hanging over her, like Angela Rayner. That simply isn't a possibility if there's going to be a crusade against fraud. What is more worrying is, of course, there's been crusades against fraud in the past and generally conducted by the Conservative Party, and yet we've still got all these stories because the tax law seems to be written with so many complexities, with so much coded language, that if you understand the code, if you understand the language, if you have the money to buy up advice from really good tax lawyers, there are many cracks and crevices through which you can slip. And legally, these are loopholes that will allow you to avoid paying tax. And I don't see that that's something that a fraud investigation will be able to claw back. So, once again, the people who are going to be hit by this are those who've tried to do it alone, are those who've tried to understand the tax and legal implications. And, of course, they're at a disadvantage because they don't speak the coded language. In the same way as people who try to represent themselves in court are at a disadvantage because they don't understand the coded language. And because, anyway, they are indulged by the court, and the legal powers resent them because they're taking away from the money that can otherwise be put into the pockets of the lawyers. This is a system which is weighted against ordinary people. And from that point of view, maybe one should be significantly waving the flag for Angela Rayner, no matter what political colours one espouses. Rayner has said on her part that she would step down as deputy leader of the Labour Party if a police investigation found she'd committed a crime. She expected Boris to step down simply because he was being investigated. She says, "I've repeatedly said I would welcome the chance to sit down with the appropriate authorities, including the police and HMRC, to set out the facts and draw a line under this matter. I'm completely confident I've followed the rules at all times. I've always said that integrity and accountability are important in politics. That's why it's important. This is urgently looked at, independently and without political interference. Well, she would say that, wouldn't she?